Pastor Roy Gearhart from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. Beautiful rhododendron here this morning. We planted it as a small plant and have watched it grow, and every year it gets more glorious. I thought this morning its color in the crayon box would be labeled passion pink because it is lit up. And that's what passion does in our lives. It gives us a fire inside that drives us and enables us to have the energy and the strength to accomplish great things. But passion can also be like a wildfire driven by the wind and can become very destructive when it's out of control. It reminds me of a sign about drinking coffee. It says, drink coffee, you'll do stupid things even faster. That's the way that passion can be in our lives. It can help us to do great things or to do bad things with a lot of drive. Moses shows that in his life. He's a man of incredible passion, and his two great passions are a passion for his people and a passion for God. These are put on full display over and over again in his life. Early on in his life, he showed this when he defended an Israelite against an Egyptian slave master. He attacked that man to stop him and ended up killing him. He could have, in his life, abandoned his identity with his people. He was raised in Pharaoh's household by Pharaoh's daughter. He could have ignored those people and tried to identify himself instead as an Egyptian. But you see, there was a passion that grew in him. A fire was inside him to see his people set free. He hated the way that they were being treated by Pharaoh, and he wanted to rescue them. Well, when he attacked that Egyptian, he had to flee. He was unable to do anything more for his people, he thought. But then God caught up with him. He met him at a bush that was on fire, but it didn't burn up. God spoke to Moses and told him, you know that thing that you wanted to do, that you couldn't do? I'm going to do it. He said, I'm going to rescue my people. I'm going to take them out of Pharaoh's hand and free them from slavery and take them to the land I promised their forefathers for a home. And Moses, you're going to lead them. Now, it's amazing because Moses, who was so passionate and in the moment was ready to explode and take on the world, now finds himself very humble. He is just Moses, and he feels so inadequate for this task. But God compels him to go and to take on this job of leading his people. And from this point on, this passion for following after God clearly drives him in his life. These two passions continue to form him all through the journey. One day he has to stand up for his people when God is ready to wipe them out. God's had it with them, and he says to Moses, I'll start over fresh with you. But Moses passionately defended his people, saying, no, God, you can't do this. They're your people. You brought them out of Egypt to rescue them. But then, in the same day, he had to strap on a sword and raise his hand against his own people because there were those who were leading the people away from God, leading them into a false worship. And he had to take the sword and strike down those frauds and stop them from leading God's people down a path of destruction. Moses is this passionate soul, passionate for his people and passionate for God. And this was a powerful force in his life. But one day that passion became unbridled as it built to a point of frustration when people were not getting on board. Moses reached a point of frustration one day with the grumbling and complaining and the quitter attitude that they embraced. And there they were without water. God told Moses, go tell that rock to give water and it will give you the water you need. But Moses went out in front of those people, and instead of speaking to the rock, he said to the people, you rebels, here we are, Aaron and I, saving you again. And he struck the rock and water came out. But God told him from that day on that he was not going to lead God's people into the promised land. He had abandoned his primary mission of leading them to God. And if he was not going to lead them to God, he could not lead them into the promised land. You see, his passions became unbridled as his anger and frustration at not seeing those passions fulfilled exploded in this moment of rage, and he lost his greatest opportunity. But God in his mercy held him fast. You see, what God is looking to build in you and me is a passion that's like that bush, on fire but not burning up. A passion that can produce life and not tear it down. But we need to have our passion fixed on God so that he can bring us into the purpose that makes our passion come alive. May God bless you today, and as you share this good news, may God make you a blessing wherever he takes you.